Hello and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge, Season 37, Spies, Lies, and Allies, Episode 3. Now I got a jam-packed episode with a lot of fun stuff for this video, but before we can get to any of that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Do you have muscles? If you do, you probably had a muscle or two sore. I know I have. I normally get it from working out. Or sitting at my computer for far too long. That's when I like to reach to the Charles Warren All-Natural Sweet Ginger Vapor Rub. It is made with 6 all-natural oils and butters. And did I mention that the packaging is biodegradable? Another product I love to use is the Coconut Milk and Oats Body and Foot Powder. It's talc-free, baking soda-free, and cornstarch-free, all while keeping my feet sweat-free, and it smells like fresh coconut cake. And right now, if you go to charleswarrenpresents.com and use my promo code at checkout, you can get a discount. All the information and a link is down in the description below. Thank you so much to Charles Warren Presents for sponsoring this video, and now on to Tiny Table Talk. The most comments I get in my comment section is about the rookies and why they can't seem to get on the same page and make a rookies alliance to match up against the veterans alliance. Why aren't these rookies waking up to what's going on around them? I even found it a little bit funny when TJ was kept on bringing up like, oh, more rookies to be in this week's elimination. Good job, vets. You can tell that the producers and TJ are just like, we need to start like getting people to wake up and like stir things up in the house. Now, thinking in past challenge history, I think of one rookie alliance that really took the cake in a season was in season 23, Battle of the Seasons 2012, where we had Team San Diego with Frank heading a rookie alliance because there was a lot of rookies in that season and they were able to eradicate all the veterans within that game. But there's so many differences between the rookies of this season and say Battle of the Seasons, as Battle of the Seasons, everybody was from the real world. And having the possibility of being on the real world and maybe moving on to do the challenge, I think everyone knew about the show, knew about the game, probably knew about past history, and was ready to jump into a rookie alliance knowing that that would benefit them. Coming on to do this season, these rookies are from all different walks of life. They're from all around the globe, from all different cultures, traditions. So to try to get 19 strangers, let alone rookies, to get on the same page and the same goal, because if you're not on the same goal and the same wavelength, then your alliance is going to be doomed from the very beginning. And we can see after the Kells vote that some of the rookies are getting their eyes open to what's going on and what the vets' plans are. We had Priscilla, Tasha, Esther, Coriel, Michelle, all being like, whoa, I can see what is happening. But I think a lot of the rookies, especially if they're partnered with vets and they like their partners, are just kind of like taking a back seat, letting them take the wheel. You do what you want to do, tell me where to vote, and I'll do it. I think the one scene that was very telling in why a rookie alliance is just dang near impossible to start in this season is the one between Coriel and Gabo. Coriel is talking about how he's nervous. He thinks his name is going to be called yet again to go into an elimination. He's already seen an elimination. It would just be easy enough for them to send him in again and again and again. And then we turn it over to Gabo, who's like, yeah, I like my partner. I don't think I'm ever going to see an elimination. And you're like, what now? Like, you've been to the lair. You know they can pick anybody that they want. Have you not seen the pattern of rookies going up against each other? And I know I've talked about Gabo quite a bit because of his demeanor and mindset coming into this game, but Gabo's not the only one. You have Ed in this game after winning the mission with Tori coming into the house going like, well, I'm glad I won, I'm glad I'm safe, but I'm just gonna let Tori handle all the dramatics. I'm just glad I'm safe, and whatever she tells me, I'll go with it. You have Bettina, who's very close with Corey and is always voting with Corey. Emmanuel seems comfortable with his partner Casey, even though he's voting for himself. Sometimes that can be more dangerous than helpful. Yes, you're not voting in against the rookies, maybe you're not voting in against the vets, but you're also not doing anything to help the situation for the rookies. I was actually really happy with the preview at the end of this episode because we have Priscilla talking about how the veterans are now possibly imploding on each other. We have Josh yelling at somebody, most likely a vet. This gives hope to some of the rookie hopefuls that are actually in this game, wanting to go farther into the game and take a shot at some of these vets. I just wanted to make it clear that I've given this a lot of thought of why the rookies aren't working together. in honor of Tatcha lighting up Tori at the end of this episode.
When you get in up with Tori, okay? If you know you wanted this, you're a fake ass bitch.
No, this is not true, Tatch.
No, that's true. No.
I wanted to highlight some of the more iconic tongue lashings in challenge history. We're gonna start off in Rivals. I have two from Rivals. The first one I wanna look into is CT and Wes having what I think is the longest argument in challenge history.
All I do is smash heads, bro. If I go home, everybody's getting hurt. Die.
CT let Wes have it for hours upon hours upon hours.
Who's scared of you now? What? Who's scared of you now? You know I'm better than you. You know I'll smoke you.
Our second entry into Rivals comes very far into the season where Cara just had some soda dumped on her head. Laurel comes to her aid, and then Laurel lashes out at Paula.
I'm 39 years old and I'm still on reality TV. I still haven't won anything, so shut the up, you stupid reject of a life.
The things Laurel said to Paula were very hurtful, very personal, and it cut to her core. When it comes to challenge one-liners and tongue lashings, no one compares to Coral. In Season 8 Inferno, we have Julie just exploding and wanting to wrestle Coral because there was some tension between the two.
What's this?
She wants to hit me?
No, she wants to wrestle you.
I don't wrestle. I beat bitches up.
And she wanted to quote-unquote fight like a guy to get the tension out and release it, but Coral wasn't having any of it.
All in your you think
And I'm ready to settle it.
You think you look big right now?
I wear a 32 double D bra. One boob alone could kick her ass.
And also a little help from CT telling Julie that maybe if she hasn't never been into a fight, let's just stay out of fights.
You ever been in a fight before? Don't stop now.
And the final one I wanted to touch upon comes in Season 16, The Island, where we have Evelyn in Episode 5 being able to steal anybody's key. But before she makes her decision, she calls out the alliance of the mob. She names them one by one, lets them have it.
These people play the game with nothing but selfishness, dishonesty, and cowardice. You, your alliance.
And finishes the scene off by stealing Johnny's key. From the creative people that brought you the Joseph Allen ab workout.
Oh my God.
Comes the new hottest workout trend. It's called the NellyT Bootcamp program. Now you can train like your favorite challenger, Nelson, getting to know the tips and tricks of his incredible workout regimen, such as the Come to Daddy. Come to Daddy. Come to Daddy, the bed is warm. The Scuba Nellies. You can feel it in my lower back. Oh my god. Holy hell. And we got the sneaky burpees. You pretend that you're going from one bed to another, trying to sneak away, and every 10 steps, you fall to the ground, thinking that somebody might have heard you leave the room. And if you act right now, you can get the NellyT Bootcamp cookbook for free. Not only can you work out like NellyT, but now you can eat like him too. I'll give you a little insider secret. The main protein source in this cookbook is fowl. This is such a great deal, it'll have you saying the audacity. Now let's read some comments from my Thursday's review and recap, and the first comment comes from D Money Raw, who says, almost threw up myself when Ashley kissed Huey after he puked. She's the perfect partner for him. I don't know if anyone else could handle Huey. That was so gross. I think it was just like caught up in the moment where she was trying to give him some inspiration, and then when they were talking, there was like a nonverbal communication where it was like, oh, we're gonna kiss now, and like for good luck, and then not remembering that he just yacked. The next comment comes from Paul Brennan, who says, maybe production should provide helmets in a challenge that involves swimming through a sketchy sea cave. Tommy's brain got rocked pretty hard. CT, who is a big guy, says he was going back and forth, back and forth. I mean, these rocks were tough. These waves were tough. I definitely think that they didn't think enough about the safety without providing them helmets. I mean, they use helmets for like everything except for this. Next up, we have a comment from Lauren Davis who says, I'm curious the rules for picking up the objects. It looked like Ed got both when the other teams had one person get each. That was a clear reason why Tori and Ed won. I definitely saw that as well. Ed dived down, got the first one, and then handed it to Tori, and then took off. And Tori was there. She went into the cave, but Ed like got to the capsule first, grabbed it, and then headed out, and then Tori turned around and they were back at their wave runner like that. I think that was the strategy though that you had to use. I mean, why did both partners have to go into the cave? And it's definitely the smart strategy as we saw them do it, and they won. So definitely some good gameplay there. Next is a comment from Angela who says, for me, the second team was Josh and Amber. It took at least 3 seconds for Michelle and Coriel to get there after Tori and Ed finished. I completely understand where you're coming from, and this is where I'm wary on not seeing times on the screen. It would have definitely swapped a lot of the strategy in the game if Coriel and Michelle were able to win, and seeing them come in second by even 1 second is like heartbreaking. Oh no, they could have done it. It was the little engine that could. My gosh, if only they were a little bit ahead of them or something to that effect. And they are a rookie team that just barely missed coming into first place. So I completely understand where you're coming from, and I have to agree that I think that there is some play into maybe Josh and Amber did come in second, but because it would have played better on camera, they said Coriel and Michelle came in second. Matt Attack 12 says, I feel so bad for Tommy. I was really hoping he would make it far into the season, especially because he's been watching the show since he was a teenager and he's been a huge fan for forever. And there's very few people like that on the challenge. People who know the history of the show and love it for all it's worth. It also sucks that this is going to be the only season, as he said. Yes, he mentioned that this was his last year of reality TV. He's done. This was his last season. He's not going to do any more shows. And I completely understand. He has a life outside of the game. He has a fiance. He's a teacher. He has all of his family. And I'm sure that this was like a huge mile marker in his life. Like he finally got to fulfill a lifelong dream of becoming a challenger on the challenge. I just hate that he went out like that. I think he would have done a great job going farther into the season. But yeah, it was very sad to see him go out that way, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Next up, we have a comment from Caroline who says, I used to be such a fan of Tori. When she was a rookie and had to prove herself, she did. But in a way, I think it went to her head. Last season, when she was calling girls weak, was the reason the rookies voted against her. They were sick of being told they were weak without having a chance to prove themselves. On top of that, Tori keeps getting the callback for at least a few seasons. I think she feels too comfortable and it's made her a mean girl. I wish she would realize it was only partially Big T pushing the vote towards her, but her own behavior as well. I semi-agree with that. I think she also doesn't like Big T because it was her choice to send Anissa to go up against her. So in a way, she indirectly and directly had Tori sent home via her best friend. So I understand where Tori is coming from with wanting to get revenge. But it's way too early. For her to come to Devin and says that the ratio is 14-14, and I think it's time that we can take a shot at a vet, it's like the best chance that you get is having the ratio be 13-13 and to still have a clear divide in the house between vets and rookies. Granted, the rookies aren't working together, so she could have taken the shot and they would have still had the numbers, but it's still way too early. The same with Fessy and Amber, like that was ridiculous as well, and I just felt like, where is the real thought process? It took Devin and Kyle to be like, this isn't a good idea. And I can understand Tori's pressure in this game where Ed was like, you do everything. You make all the decisions in this episode, and I'm just going to take a step back. So I think she really did think that, oh, Big T would be the safe choice. I have a reason to say her, and the vets aren't really trusting her. But then again, she is still a vet, and she's in the Vet True / Alliance, and what would that be to Tori's game? I just didn't think she really thought it through 100%. I do think that there is something to her mood and her attitude of like, yes, I'm a vet, yes, I'm employed by the challenge, yes, I'm a part of the official challenge podcast, I can be on any season that I want, bah, bah, bah. So I think there is something to that is like, emanating from her that we've seen in her past seasons up to now. Big Sis Senpai says, why is everyone coming for Big T being friendly with the rookies when Tori legit flirted with 2 of them and Nelson is busy playing boomerang with Ashley and Berna? Amen. What is happening with this Big T being in big trouble? But honestly, they're not even giving her a shot to show her loyalty or disloyalty to the vets or her being fully with the rookies. They're pushing her to go with the rookies because they're not bringing her into their conversations or meetings. It's very disappointing to me because last season, I thought Big T was coming into her own. She was like blossoming, and I thought that it's only going to get better coming into this season, but it seems like everyone's taking like 2 steps back on Big T this season. I hate to see it. Next comment we have is from Lisby or Lisby. Says, I just don't like Nelson's attitude about the entire Berna/Ashley situation. Yes, Ashley can be a hot mess, but I feel like he's just being extremely disrespectful towards her. Nelson just made me cringe through this entire episode and even the aftermath. I agree with you that I think that the situation or the love triangle that they were in could have been handled a whole lot better than how it was or how it is still being handled. And yes, I agree with you that Nelson was very, very much cringy in his confessionals, especially during the elimination portion of this episode where he was like, oh yeah, Berna, come back into the house. I kept the bed warm for you and all this other, like it was just really cringy. Ben comments, the game Devin is playing so far is very impressive. He's pitting rookies against each other in deliberation with his little, if not you, then who? He's thinking about the bigger picture, trying to target Emmanuel, as he will be a huge threat in the finals, and he understands the importance of the Vets Alliance. Also, Kyle's commentary was A grade this episode. I agree that Kyle's commentary was golden in this episode, especially in the elimination portion where he was like, in this year I can hear Nelson rooting for Berna, and in this year I can hear Ashley rooting for Tatcha. That was really, really great. And yeah, Devin is playing a very strong game. Everybody's coming to him for advice and for what moves to make next, yet he is so far into the background. He is getting all the rookies to pick him as a partner. He's making that web. The next comment comes from Johnny Talk Sports, who says, I like how TJ sarcastically admired the vets for only sending in rookies so far. You can tell he's really frustrated about it. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but yeah, I agree. There's points where you could tell that the production is like, look, we got to get this thing, like, we got to get some of it stirring. We got to stir the pot. So make sure you say like, oh, more rookies. Wow, you're sending in more rookies. Good job, vets. It's like, hey, everybody, I'm not trying to be subtle about, hey, you should wake up and start playing the game. Let's do this. You're going to get picked off one by one. But sadly, I think that even with TJ's nudging, it's not going to do anything. It's going to take for the vets to actually implode on each other for anything to really start to happen and see moves start to happen. And the final comment comes from Tyler, who says, I really liked Big T with Tommy. After the elimination, I was hoping for Big T and CT reunion. I almost thought about that. After Berna took CT, I was like, yeah, that's the right decision. Good job, Berna. But then in my mind after the episode, I was thinking, what would have happened if Berna, say, took Devin or somebody else? Would that have led to Big T and CT being reunited again? Ugh, that would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen that reunion. I think Big T could have used that reunion after everything that happened to her in this episode. But alas, that did not happen. We're going to have to wait to see if that reunion is going to happen sometime later on in the season. I sure hope we see it. But that is it for this week's Tiny Table Talk. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think is the real reason why the rookies can't seem to get on the same page? Let me know that in the comment section below. What is your favorite blow up or tongue lashing that has happened in the challenge? If it's one from this video, let me know. If it's something that I didn't show in this video, let me know that in the comment section below. And what do you think about this season overall? Who do you think is next on the chopping block? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back very, very soon with more Challenge 37 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.